Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 2 Part 175 based on novel. So let's start. Shrek Academy's team had appeared way too suddenly. The evil Soul Masters didn't expect, even in their wildest dreams, that so many enemies would appear in the core areas of the Sun Moon Empire's camp, and that their enemies would be so powerful. They were caught off guard from the get-go. Tang San was possibly the calmest out of all the evil Soul Masters. She reacted immediately after Nangong Wan was sent hurtling away. Dark blue light flickered on her body and 8 soul rings swiftly appeared around her. She actually had 7 black rings and 1 red ring. Nobody knew how the Holy Ghost Church had helped her soul rings evolve like that. Dark blue silver vines immediately burst through the air one after another as they whipped towards Elder Song in an attempt to help the third elder deal with her. But how powerful was Elder Song? Her green shadow godly eagle was wind type, and Tang San's dark blue silver vines were sliced into pieces by formless wind blades before they came too close to her. Tang San couldn't possibly hurt her even if Elder Song wasn't targeting her. Just as Tang San was about to unleash her most powerful soul skill, she suddenly saw a person appear in front of her. This person's entire body flickered with streaks of lightning, a man who was full of passion and emotion. She was just about to unleash an attack at full strength, but for some reason, she froze when she saw this man, and didn't unleash her next soul skill. Xiao. Bei's voice trembled, sounding like a whimper. He couldn't control his emotions at all when he saw Tang San. Tang San was still as beautiful as ever, but she didn't have her liveliness and her energy from before, and seemed like a statue, like the walking dead. Hui Yuhao had already seen what Tang San was like, but he didn't dare tell Bei, because he was afraid that Bei would be sad. Bei could now feel his heart knotting up painfully as he saw what Tang San was like. Xiao Ya, I'm Bei. Do you remember me? Tears flowed down Bei's cheeks uncontrollably, and even though he was releasing his martial soul, he didn't have any will to fight at all. His entire body was just quivering before her. Tears didn't come easy from a real man. Ever since Xiao Ya had gone missing, Bei had been going through agonizing torture in his heart. He believed that it was his fault for not taking care of Xiao Ya that she had ended up in the Holy Ghost Church's hands. The last time they met was on the competition stage. When Tang San used her blue-silver tyrant spear and impaled him, he had really wanted to just let go and liberate himself. He was absolutely willing, even if he had to die in Tang San's embrace. This was the second time that they had met after that time, now among endless soldiers, and in the darkness of the night. Bei stared at Tang San, who was like a zombie, and he couldn't control his emotions at all. Tang San stared at Bei, who had tears covering his entire face. She seemed a little frozen as well, but her hand was still slowly rising in Bei's direction. Her eyes suddenly became cold in the next moment and countless dark blue shadows lunged right at Bei. Bei just stood there, motionless. He still didn't believe that Tang San would harm him, even at a time like this. "What are you doing, Bei?" Shusansha shouted in shock, and a golden light appeared in front of him in the next moment. An enormous shield protected Bei behind it, blocking all the blue shadows going right for him. Bei's body trembled as he snapped around at Shusansha, who was rushing to his side. "Don't interfere, Sansha. I don't believe Xiao Ya will harm me." Shusansha retorted angrily, "You insane? Can you not see that she has been brainwashed, and her mind is being controlled? We have to leave as quickly as possible. Little junior brother cannot keep that up for too long. What kind of romantic game are you playing at now? If you want to move Xiao Ya and let her recover, you have to wait for when everyone has returned safely. Why are you so muddled? Are you trying to kill everyone?" Shusansha didn't stop as he hollered furiously at Bei. His Xuanwu shield became a shield wall as he blocked all the area attacks from Tang San's dark blue-silver grass. Even though Tang San was already an 8-ringed soul Delor, Shusanshi's strength had increased exponentially ever since he had fused with his spirit. His golden tortoise was hovering beside him, and it released circles of golden light one after another that greatly boosted his Xuanwu shield. Bei Bei was momentarily stunned after Shu Sancha berated him. However, some clarity finally returned to his eyes as he said, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." He swiftly came out from behind Shu Sanchi's shield as he spoke, and he pounced right at Tang Wei amidst flickering golden lightning, unleashing his radiant holy dragon. Bei Bei used Thunderous Dragon Claw, his first soul skill, and slashed at Tang Wei as he used Vigorous Thunderbolt, his second soul skill, at the same time. Thousands of streaks of lightning permeated the skies as they sliced away the dark blue-silver grass in the air. An elegant white stallion flickering with golden light appeared before Bei Bei, and dragon scales immediately covered Bei Bei's body. It was Bei Bei's spirit, his heavenly dragon horse. Back then, Bei Bei's blue lightning tyrant dragon had officially evolved into a radiant holy dragon after he fused with the heavenly dragon horse. Bei Bei's aura now swelled as his spirit appeared. Even though he wasn't using his martial soul true body, his fighting strength was near that standard with the heavenly dragon horse's support. Tang Wei's eyes were ice cold from the beginning to the end. She raised her hands and made a grab with her left hand in the air as her blue-silver tyrant spear gradually took form. She pushed out with her right hand towards Bei Bei, and an enormous bluish-black web opened up. It blocked his thunderous dragon claw before it reached for him. The web was becoming larger and larger as it flew, and it could hold its own against Bei Bei's radiant lightning. Bei Bei stomped his right foot heavily on the ground as the lightning on his body flourished. That was his third soul skill, Thunderous Fury. Golden circles of light were released beneath his feet in the next moment. He used Dragon Emperor's Realm Quake, and his aura rose incredibly quickly to an extremely fearsome level. This was the reason why Bei Bei didn't use his martial soul true body. His fighting strength would be even stronger if he was in his martial soul true body, but his Dragon Emperor's Realm Quake could only be used at its full strength with Dragon Emperor Demonic Rupture. His martial soul true body didn't have such delicate control, and at the bottom of it all, he was still afraid that he would hurt Tang Wei. A pair of enormous dragon claws rose as they slashed at the enormous web. The large web dropped down and closed up as it trapped him inside. Bei Bei fixed his gaze as he shouted, and tore to his side savagely. He realized as he was tearing that the web was both extremely viscous and tough at the same time, and he couldn't tear open this web even with his strength. Furthermore, there were many bluish-black spikes on this web which released extremely pure energies of darkness that attempted to worm their way into his body. Bei Bei would have been injured as he slashed against those spikes if not for his radiant holy dragon scales protecting him. But Bei Bei was a powerful soul sage, after all. With his heavenly dragon horse supporting him, he used Dragon Emperor Demonic Rupture as blinding golden light shot into the air. Intense energies of light gave way to pure power as the large web was torn in two. As he tossed those two pieces away, they were thrown towards two evil soul masters in the distance. However, Bei Bei could clearly feel his scalp going numb in this moment. Tang Wei's blue-silver tyrant spear had taken form, and the tip of the spear was pointed right at him. She was in a stance like she was going to throw it. In this moment, Tang Wei was the only person that Bei Bei could see. He could still vividly remember, back on the competition stage, Tang Wei had used her blue-silver tyrant spear to impale him. He didn't dodge last time, and he had used his passionate and warm blood to meet Tang Wei's attack. He wanted Tang Wei to feel the love that he had for her in his blood. Back then, Bei Bei felt that Tang Wei seemed to recover part of her memory from his repeated calls. They were almost in the exact same situation in this moment. Many emotions surfaced in Bei Bei's mind as he faced her blue-silver tyrant spear once more. Tang Wei clutched her blue-silver tyrant spear as she stared at the man who had just torn apart her spiderweb binding. She seemed to be momentarily stunned, and her ice-cold eyes flowed with a tinge of hesitation. Shu Sancha arrived beside Bei Bei with a single stride. He wasn't afraid of her blue-silver tyrant spear, and his Xuanwu shield was at the ready. "Sancha!" Bei Bei suddenly growled. "What?" Shu Sancha turned around at him. Bei Bei stared at him deeply and said, "Leave this to me. Trust me." Shu Sancha quivered as he said solemnly, "Bei Bei." Bei Bei lowered his voice. "Trust me." Shu Sancha took a deep breath. He held onto his golden Xuanwu shield as he took a step back. However, he didn't leave the battle. The Ice Bear King, Little Bai, was controlling the entire battlefield. Shrek Academy's warriors had the absolute upper hand even though they were few in number. The most intimidating ones from the Tang sect were Ji Juechen and Yi Gai. Ji Juechen's judgment sword unleashed formidable sword intent, and every swing of his sword was a nightmare for those evil soul masters. Yi Gai's situation was even better. Her martial soul was a holy angel, while her type wasn't light. Instead, her martial soul was a holy type martial soul. Her aura would be strengthened every time she killed an evil soul master, and here, she immediately surpassed the strength of a normal soul sage. Yi Gai's martial soul was one of the strongest ones within the entire Tang sect. In terms of just martial souls, her martial soul probably surpassed either of Hui Yuhao's. The element of holiness contained within a holy angel was extremely rare, and was born to fight against evil. A holy angel would be strengthened every time it killed something evil. Yi Gai had just slaughtered an evil soul emperor, dissipating his martial soul into dust and nothingness. What she gained from this kill was equivalent to cultivating for 3 months by herself. It wasn't easy to find something evil from day to day, but the Holy Ghost Church was a most suitable opponent for Yi Gai to strengthen herself with. Furthermore, almost every single evil soul master's abilities would be countered before her holy angel. The element of light could counter evil, but it wasn't as strong. Evil soul masters had been investigating how to deal with the element of light for many years, and they had a set of their own methods. However, there wasn't much they could do against the element of holiness. Holiness was a natural counter to them, and holiness always trumped evil, so it was a one-sided affair. The reason why the element of holiness was so powerful was that it had almost no natural enemies, while it could counter all evil and darkness. An avenging spirit flew in front of Yi Gai. If she were an ordinary soul emperor, she would have to be very cautious when facing an evil soul master. If she wasn't cautious enough, her spiritual sea might be affected. However, against Yi Gai, she only shone with golden light before the avenging spirit screamed tragically and vanished. The power of purification even caused the avenging spirit to be sucked into Yi Gai's body to replenish her and increase her cultivation. As a result, Yi Gai's fighting strength was fully unleashed as she fought under the Ice Bear King's protection. She was the nightmare of every evil soul master. Hui Yuhao had risked everything to save her before because she could naturally curb evil soul masters. As Yi Gai's abilities increased, her deterrence against evil soul masters grew stronger, too. Yi Gai was already close to becoming a soul sage. After this fight, she was confident that she could make a breakthrough to become a soul sage. When that happened, a holy angel would have 4 wings, and her overall abilities would greatly increase. She wouldn't be afraid even against an evil soul Dolor. Nan Qiuqiu followed beside Yi Gai, coordinating with her. Yi Gai's holy angel was the most effective against evil soul masters, while Nan Qiuqiu was using her Ruby Dragon's annihilation abilities to protect her, enabling Yi Gai's offensive power to be unleashed to the limit. It wasn't just Nan Qiuqiu. Xiao Xiao was also protecting Yi Gai. Her 3-live Soul Crush Cauldron was used as a control-type martial soul to isolate Yi Gai from their enemies. This prevented too many enemies from appearing directly in front of her, allowing Yi Gai to better unleash her abilities. Apart from the 3 of them, everyone else also demonstrated their powers. Jiang Nanan's abilities had greatly increased ever since she had fused with the Ruby Soft Tendon Python spirit. Right now, a python over 3 meters long ran riot on the battlefield. The strangest part of it was that it possessed the abilities that Jiang Nan had. Just this alone was enough to make it as strong as Xu Sanqi's golden tortoise. Jiang Nan had already transformed into her martial soul true body at this moment, but it wasn't her soft bone rabbit. Rather, she had fused her true body into her ruby soft tendon python, increasing her spirit's abilities greatly. She relied on the size of her python to disrupt proceedings on the battlefield, and the evil soul masters were unable to gather. Xiao Ya. Bei Bei shouted at Tang Ya, who had already raised her blue-silver tyrant spear. Tang Ya's body shook. She was already hesitating a little. When she heard Bei Bei's call, her action slowed even further. Bei Bei removed his Dragon Emperor's realm quake and slowly walked towards Tang Ya. With every step he took, his body dimmed slightly. After 3 steps, his dragon scales had completely disappeared, and his martial soul had even been retracted. He revealed his true appearance. Xiao Ya, I'm Bei Bei. Do you remember me? Bei Bei walked towards Tang Ya. Shu Sancha held his golden Xuanwu shield tightly, and suddenly swept his hand across his body. His shield flew out and struck a few evil soul emperors that were charging over. He was worried about Bei Bei. However, he couldn't stop him at this moment. From that earlier moment, he had already seen the determined look in Bei Bei's eyes. Even though he was very close to Bei Bei, it was his first time seeing such a look in his eyes. He knew that Bei Bei had already made up his mind. No matter what, he had to try. As a brother, he couldn't stop him. If he were in such a situation with Jiang Nan Nan, he would also do the same thing. Bei Bei, come on. Shu Sancha shouted silently, and focused his gaze on Tang Ya. Once something went wrong, he would dash in to save Bei Bei immediately. Tang Ya was a little dazed as she stood there. There was still a large bunch of dark blue-silver grass dancing around her feet. However, they didn't attack. The sharp blue-silver tyrant spear flashed with a dark blue light. Its dominant aura made it felt like it could pierce through the sky. However, she didn't thrust it toward Bei Bei. Bei Bei was still walking toward her. His gaze became even gentler, and there wasn't even a streak of soul power undulations coming from him. Xiao Ya, I won't do anything to you. How can I possibly hurt you? You are my Xiao Ya, and you'll always be. If you want to attack, then kill me. I'm willing even if my blood stains your body. Don't come over. Tang Ya suddenly shouted. This was also her first time speaking on this battlefield. Her voice was no longer as cold and indifferent as it was before. Rather, she sounded a little afraid and panicky. After hearing her speak, Shu Sancha heaved a sigh of relief. Tang Ya's emotions were roused after seeing Bei Bei. This meant that he was still in her memory. Bei Bei didn't listen to Tang Ya, and continued to walk forward. He wasn't very far from Tang Ya to begin with, and now, he was almost in front of her. Don't come over. Tang Ya's voice turned a little sharper. Her icy-cold eyes were filled with indecision. Xiao Ya, Xiao Ya. I'm Bei Bei. Bei Bei continued to walk forward. He was calling Tang Ya's name as if he were calling his own wife. Finally, he was in front of her. She didn't move her spear. It was even shaking in her grip. Bei Bei was now right in front of the spear, but he didn't stop. He walked directly into the spear, and the tip of the spear pierced his shoulder. There was a trace of red on the tip of the spear, which spread along the dark patterns on it. As Tang Ya's cultivation increased, the spear was able to absorb blood. As it absorbed blood, it also fused the dark poison elements inside it into the enemy's blood. Bei Bei turned pale, but his gaze was still as gentle as ever. Xiao Ya, I'm Bei Bei. Seeing that the tip of her spear had pierced Bei Bei's shoulder, Tang Ya was stunned, and just looked at him in a daze. It was like she was looking at some unbelievable thing. Bei Bei moved another inch forward. Immediately, the spear pierced deeper into him. From the start until the end, Bei Bei didn't reveal a painful look on his face. There was only a gentle look throughout. Xiao Ya, I'm Bei Bei, Bei Bei continued to call softly. Ah! Tang Ya started to shout frantically, and furiously let go of the spear in her hand. Without her soul power, a spear immediately dissipated, and turned into streaks of dark blue light that disappeared into the air. The blue-silver grass around Tang Ya also instantly disappeared. Her face was very pale, and her body started to shake tremendously. Her hands were on her head. My head hurts. It hurt so much. Bei Bei resisted the pain in his shoulder and rushed forward, hugging Tang Ya. Even though Tang Ya's body was icy-cold right now, and was filled with an intense aura of darkness, when Bei Bei hugged her, tears flowed from her eyes uncontrollably. How many years had it been? Ever since Tang Yue went missing, it had been many years. He was finally able to hold her in his arms again. Xiao Yue, you don't know how blissful I feel right now. No matter what price I have to pay, I'll treat you. Seeing that Bei Bei had succeeded, Xu Sancha was delighted. He charged towards Bei Bei and whispered, "All right, let's go quickly, so that we can ask little Junior to leave." Bei Bei twisted to look at him and nodded quickly. After that, he carried Tang Yue away and fled towards the Masquerade Dolor's tent. The door to the spectral demiplane was already open. The command tent of the Sun Moon Empire. As the imperial tutor and leader of the Holy Ghost Church, Zhongli Wu sat in the main seat. Even Lin Hai was only sitting by his side. A large number of orders had already been passed down. The entire base was busy with this fight. Zhongli Wu was very grim. Apart from Lin Hai, there were also many other commanders from the Sun Moon Empire inside the tent. As Zhongli Wu and the 6 consecrated from the Holy Ghost Church's worship hall were inside the tent, they were all afraid. Why is no one reporting after so long? What's with your soldiers? Zhongli Wu asked Lin Hai. Lin Hai furrowed his brow and said, "This shouldn't be happening. It's been some time. The messengers should be constantly reporting information." After a series of orders were passed down earlier, the command tent had quieted down. They had been waiting for some time already, but no further messengers had arrived. How was the fight continuing on without any commands? Oh! Zhongli Wu's expression suddenly changed. He stood up immediately. Things aren't right. Why is it so quiet? Even if the command tent can isolate noise quite well, there should be some movement outside. Let's go out and take a look. As he spoke, he headed out. Of course no messengers came. This was because the Masquerade Dolor was outside. After setting up the spiritual barrier, Yu Hao had already stopped 3 waves of messengers. With the spiritual barrier isolating all noises from outside, those 3 waves of messengers were tricked into a dark corner beside the command tent through Yu Hao's spiritual interference domain. They were also unconscious. The curtains of the tent were pulled open, and Zhongli Wu was the first to walk out. Seeing that Zhongli Wu had come out, Yu Hao was alarmed. Things hadn't finished on the other side, not everyone had retreated yet. Yu Hao knew that they were fighting for time right now. Every second would make his teammates safer. Bei Bei had just picked up Xiao Yue, and was about to retreat towards his tent. Yu Hao's spiritual detection engulfed the entire battlefield. He knew everything that was happening. Time. Yu Hao suddenly thought of something, and quickly rushed forward 2 steps. He screamed in panic, "Sect leader, things aren't going well. We've been ambushed by people from Shrek Academy." Although he was screaming, he was blocking Zhongli Wu's path. What? After walking out of the tent, Zhongli Wu immediately sensed something amiss. What's with that weird soul power undulation in the air? Why did I not sense anything earlier? However, he couldn't be bothered with that at this moment. He hurriedly shouted, "All consecrated, follow me to deal with the enemy." However, a strong blizzard suddenly raged in at that moment. Under Yu Hao's command, the Ice Bear King had been suppressing his abilities all this while, and didn't unleash his blizzard at its full strength. But now, the area covered by the blizzard instantly expanded. Visibility was greatly reduced, preventing the sect leader and the consecrated of the Holy Ghost Church from seeing clearly. All sensing through soul power was reduced to its weakest because of this extremely powerful domain-type soul skill. Zhongli Wu shouted furiously and smacked his right hand forward. A ball of strong purple light was released from his palm. This purple light spread through the air, turning into dark purple balls. Wherever these balls passed, the snowflakes in the air would melt and disappear. He couldn't be bothered with the blizzard at all, and charged directly towards the battlefield. He was very confident in his abilities as a titled Dolor. On the other side, everyone from Shrek Academy also quickly fled as they saw Bei Bei carrying Xiao Yue away. Elder Song smacked her palm toward the 3rd elder, critically hurting him, spitting out blood in the process. However, she couldn't be bothered to deal him a final, lethal blow before she turned into a streak of jade green light that immediately flashed away, shooting straight towards Zhongli Wu. If no one stopped the oncoming Holy Ghost Church members, they wouldn't be able to flee. Yang Xiaozhe's sixth soul ring rose. The reason why he and Elder Song couldn't kill the third and fourth elders quickly was because they were suppressing their power. They couldn't risk generating strong soul power undulations that Zhongli Wu might discover. Hu Yuhao was able to isolate noise and soul power undulations, but the truth would still be exposed if the tremors in the ground were too strong. But at this moment, there was nothing for them to hide anymore. Yang Xiaozhe unleashed his full powers. A bright golden phoenix fluttered its wings and collided with the fourth elder. At the same time, it flew straight towards the oncoming evil soul masters, and forced the evil soul masters pestering the people from the Tang sect back. They naturally took this opportunity to charge straight back to Hu Yuhao's tent. Yang Xiaozhe followed Elder Song closely. After he fused into the back of the golden phoenix, he unleashed his martial soul true body. His ninth soul ring also shone. A sonorous and deafening phoenix scream rose. Yang Xiaozhe's phoenix true body grew incredibly in size, his wings extending more than 100 meters across. Strong phoenix flames rose before they shot towards the ground. Every one of these flames was shaped like a phoenix. The strong aura of light even caused Little Bai's blizzard to dissipate temporarily. The originally dark sky brightened up at this moment. A bright golden fire was burning, and the radiant phoenix in the sky was shining with an elegant radiance. This was Yang Xiaozhe's ninth soul skill, Phoenix Descent. It was his strongest soul skill. At this instant, he seemed to have completely transformed into a true god-beast phoenix. The strong light element suppressed Zhongli Wu and the six consecrated, stalling them slightly, just long enough for the flames to engulf them. Zhongli Wu and the others had charged out anxiously when they realized the pressing situation on the battlefield, whereas Yang Xiaozhe was warned by Hu Yuhao. He was already prepared, and didn't hesitate to unleash his strongest soul skill. Elder Song also shone with green light. She had turned into her green shadow godly eagle before Yang Xiaozhe had transformed. When the phoenix descent was unleashed, the godly eagle instantly flashed in the air. At that instant, even Hu Yuhao only saw a green light flashing by, followed by the appearance of a jade green light. Right now, the green shadow godly eagle was no longer like a martial soul anymore. It was more like an artistic piece that had been carved from jade. The speed of the eagle reached its extreme as she reached Zhongli Wu. Zhongli Wu didn't have time to unleash his martial soul true body. As he had no choice, he could only defend with all his might. Under such a circumstance, Elder Song's abilities were unleashed to their greatest. Along with the fact that the evil soul masters had to resist the flames from the phoenix true body, all 7 of them were flung away as they were struck by Elder Song. It was Elder Song's ninth soul skill, Emerald Refinement. Zhongli Wu's cultivation was close to Elder Song's, but he was an evil soul master. If they were in a duel, Elder Song could only use her speed to fight him. She might not be his match. However, given the current situation, Zhongli Wu was still flung away even though he wasn't hurt. Hu Yuhao let out a tragic scream within the flames before he disappeared. After all, the flames came from a transcendent dolor. Its terrifying power could kill an ordinary titled dolor. Everyone from the Tang sect took this opportunity to rush into Hu Yuhao's tent. They concealed themselves within the blizzard and made their way into Hu Yuhao's spectral demiplane. A white halo was suddenly released from the flames, mass enfeeblement. The surrounding space distorted from his spiritual interference domain. Zhongli Wu wanted to fly back, but he suddenly felt a wave of strong spiritual power striking him. He groaned in the air and his body shone with purple light. However, his body only shook, and he stopped. Yuhao, leave! Yang Xiaozhe ordered. Hu Yuhao knew that he was helpless in a fight of this tier. He had hit Zhongli Wu with his strongest spiritual shock, but only felt a spiritual backlash. He didn't dare to stop, and quickly fled. At the same time, he said to Nangong Wan, who was playing dead, the restrictions in your spiritual sea will disappear after 3 days. You don't have to do anything. Nangong Wan was playing dead after he was knocked away. To make it even more real, he even intentionally hurt himself, breaking a few of his bones. After hearing Hui Yuhao's words, he couldn't do anything but believe. If he tried to probe further, he might expose himself. Hui Yuhao called the Ice Bear King and quickly retreated into his tent. A beam of jade green light shone behind them. They only felt that they became lighter before they rushed into the tent. "Quickly, go!" Elder Song's voice came to them. Hui Yuhao said, "No, Elder Song. Leave with Little Bai first. I'll wait for Dean Yang. I need to shut this door myself. If I leave, it could be exposed." Elder Song said, "Don't worry. You don't have to care about him. Xiaosha has a way of escaping. Let's leave first, quick." "What?" Hui Yuhao was doubtful, but he couldn't suspect Elder Song's words. He didn't dare to stall any further, and quickly entered the door with Little Bai. Elder Song followed them. After entering the demoplane, Elder Song immediately said to Hui Yuhao, "Shut the door." Dean Yang, Hui Yuhao was shocked as he looked at Elder Song. "Are we not waiting for Dean Yang?" Elder Song smiled and replied, "Don't worry, Xiaosha really has a way of escaping. Do you really think it's so easy being the dean of the Martial Soul Department? He shares the same teacher as you. If he's not capable enough, how could he become the heir to the master of the Sea God's Pavilion?" Hui Yuhao quickly shut the door. As the door shut, the entire demoplane was dissociated from the Doluo continent. At this moment, the evil soul masters couldn't find them no matter how strong they were. Of course, if Hui Yuhao and the others wanted to return, they would still need to return to the base. However, it would only be him then. It would be much easier for him to flee in those circumstances. He didn't need to rush things now. It was better for things to settle down first. In the plan that Hui Yuhao had set, Yang Xiaosha had volunteered to cover any retreat. Hui Yuhao naturally knew how strong he was. Such an arrangement was naturally appropriate. However, things didn't proceed as smoothly as planned. After the explosion, the Holy Ghost Church's sect leader didn't send anyone to check on things. This was a surprise to Hui Yuhao. He had underestimated how selfish evil soul masters were. The command tent was too close to the battlefield. The sect leader had still managed to discover an issue. It would be too dangerous for him to cover any retreat. Even if he wanted to, he didn't possess the ability to do so. He was even afraid that Nangong Wan would expose his disguise as the Masquerade Doluo. However, it would be fine if everyone could retreat safely. However, who knew that Yang Xiaosha wouldn't choose to leave? The plan was almost perfect. The only flaw was that Yang Xiaosha didn't leave with them. Right now, Hui Yuhao figured that Dean Yang must have some kind of trump card as he saw the smile on Elder Song's face. The blizzard disappeared, but the phoenix flames were still raging. The entire sky was illuminated by golden light. The Sun Moon Empire's flying soul engineers were quickly assembling in this direction. This was where the command tent was, at the core of the entire base. If things went wrong here, there would be great trouble. Yang Xiaosha's phoenix descent greatly suppressed Zhongli Wu and the six consecrated, and they weren't able to break free from his flames. This video will end here.